Good morning, everybody. This is Garen in the control room. We are streaming, but we're not coming through the audio just yet until Chairman says. So, for those that are tuning in, we'll be going live here for the regular Tribal Council meeting for September 9th, 2020. Stand by. for those that are listening and tuning in on the streaming and stuff, there's no audio just yet. Chairman hasn't give us the green light, so we're still waiting. We're checking on Louis LaRose here just to make sure that to see if he wants to join us, and then we'll get started here. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Okay, Chairman. It's 9:10, and we'll turn the meeting over to you. So far, we have Carl Baker. Erica Dunn is going to be doing some monitoring. Thelma Whitewater, John Snowball, Lorelei Decora, Coley Brown, Lance, Eric Armel, Brian Chamberlain, Roland Warner, Misty Jefferson, Teresa Little George, Tyresha Wolf are on the call. Turn the meeting over to you, Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Garen. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's Labor Day weekend. It wasn't long enough, but we enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Lorelei and Brian, on you guys' the amount of votes you received, and hopefully you continue on the next round. Congratulations. We are at the regular tribal council meeting scheduled for today, Wednesday, September 9th, 2020, 9 a.m. via GoToMeeting. As a reminder, the regular and mid-monthly tribal council meetings are live streamed. We will call to order at 9:11 a.m. John, would you say the opening prayer for us, please?
Thank you, Chairman. Aho choka mauna wowo konchangre egono egidawde egono egidawde hinige no jonijono monege wowo hodene honene guneno hinige wongrege wowo hodene honene guneno hinige aho choka nigiti wewo honakshna nigiti wewo shoni going choka. Bless us, bless all of us, and watch out over Louis for us, choka. We really depend on him and his knowledge, and that he's fallen ill, but he's getting better now. So we wanted to thank you and to ask you to take care of him for us, and take care of all of our ones that are ill, and our ones that need guidance, and all of our people, Choka, and out to the other nations, and the way it's connected for us, the way you have connected it for us, Choka, and if you would help us find the right path, and even each one of us, from the individuals to the families, that it's a real short distance to the right path, that you made it that way for us. And that we can find those paths, Choka, so we can be healthy and have long life and happiness, the real simple things that we want for ourselves, so that we can find that and have a good journey here, Choka. So and anything that I leave out, and all of the thoughts and prayers of the council and of all of our people, Choka, that I want to echo that, and I want to ask that you take care of that for us, Choka. And just say thank you, thank you for everything that we have, and our people and our land and our language and all those gifts that you have given us. Oh,
Pingy, John. Hey, there's Louis. There's Louis. Okay, looks like we're all here today now. Louis here. Good to see you today, Louis.
I think, Chairman, that he's tuning in on his phone. Louis, you're on mute, just to kind of give you a FYI. I don't know if maybe somebody can help you unmute.
Okay. Okay, we're at the agenda. For today's agenda, we have our agenda set. First of all, I think I had a conversation with Lance and the secretary, and we will remove Lance's items because we are having that meeting Friday. He come in and he filled out the referral form for this weeks ago, and these were the 3 items he wanted to set for this date. Since we set that meeting on September 11th, these 3 items will be on that agenda.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
You're correct about that. I actually came in, weeks ago to do this, and then we had, some back and forth about when to have the meeting. But one item that is not on the meeting Friday agenda, and which we could easily add to it probably that day, is the annual plan and report, which is scheduled, which has to happen at some point. So I don't mind moving it to Friday for sure, all at once, but all of these items are not on that agenda for Friday.
Okay. Has that agenda been sent out yet?
I've seen it on Facebook, and I've sent an email requesting that we consider adding the annual plan and report. I'm certainly prepared to do them today also, but whatever makes sense.
Okay, we'll add it to Friday.
Coley, on Fridays, there's no presentations. Those are action items only. And in the emails that we got from legal, that those presentations and what he wants to do on his part on the annual reporting should be done in January at the beginning of the year, telling the year's plan, not at the end of the year. So that's my recommendation.
I have a question about that. Why even come to the meeting if I'm not allowed to talk?
Well, that's not where that presentation is done. It's only for action items. And those ain't action items.
That doesn't make any sense at all. Just so you know. I mean, you're confusing how this process works, I suspect.
No, this has never been done before. So like I said, the one that you want to do a presentation for your plan, that is done in January to tell what your plan is for the whole year. But this special meeting that we have, the shareholders one, those are only action items.
I don't understand what you mean by action items. Usually on these subjects, we present the information and it goes back and forth, and then there is often action items.
Well, this meeting's not for that one. I'm sorry.
So should I bother coming to the meeting Friday? We've prepared for months this information at your request and as part of our obligation. And so if we're not going to actually do anything on Friday where we participate, then I would request that we leave this on the agenda for today so that we can actually present the information. I mean, making a decision without actual information strikes me as not the most positive approach.
On the agenda for that, it has ATF, and that's where you give your information to the council, to the shareholders on that. that item.
Well, as long as I'm allowed to actually present the information in a format that makes sense, that's fine with me. Whether we
Yes.
do the annual plan or not, it's your obligation. But I'm not sure, Thelma, it's your choice alone to make this decision.
I know, but like I'm not gonna argue about this. This is only set for action items from the council. And apparently you don't understand that the presentation is done at the annual, not at the special one.
Well, we've not had the annual meeting. We typically have it either in the winter or in the summer, but it was delayed. It was delayed for lots of reasons.
Yeah, well, legal said to have it in January, at the beginning of the year. I think it was included in on an email that we got from legal.
I didn't read, I haven't read your legal's opinion. I know what it says. I wrote the code.
Mr. Chairman, I think the CEO of HCI should be able to present. It is an annual shareholders meeting. It's not Secretary Whitewater's meeting. It's the annual shareholders
Not
meeting.
the annual, Lorelei. It's not an annual.
He should be able to present as the
We did that in
CEO
January.
the information, and he can do that.
He
You're
can do it
not
in
no
January,
dictator.
not on this one. We call this meeting.
You're talking for
Council.
yourself.
Council calls this meeting. It's not an annual. There's two different types.
It says annual shareholders meeting on the top
No, it
of the
doesn't.
agenda.
It's a special shareholders meeting.
That isn't what I saw. It was an annual
Mr. Chair.
shareholders meeting.
Take control of your meeting here. Call to order here. Point of order. This is getting convoluted.
Yeah, this will be an introductory, all new to most of us. And we don't know if it's ever been this way. If a
Never.
meeting's ever been done in this format. Requested any minutes or agendas from past years. We're a shareholder, so it'll be the first. And hopefully there will be more. And we'll discuss that. And we can act on that. We can listen to that annual plan. It needs to get done. We can do it.
These are two separate issues. These are two separate issues. We are calling for two different meetings. Let us be clear on that.
If that's the case, Mr. Chairman, maybe I should present the annual plan and report today. I mean, I don't care. It's an obligation that I'm required to do annually. It's the input time for the tribe itself. The difference, but we're making a lot of difference about the semantics between the annual meeting, the shareholders meeting, or the council meeting. I am the person who crafted the system in the early 90s, and it was designed to be all the same meeting, whether it's a shareholders meeting or an annual meeting or a council meeting. The tribe owns all 9 shares, and the council members vote each share. It's designed to be essentially, to function essentially as a council meeting, regardless of what you call it. So calling it any kind of particular meeting really makes no difference. It functions exactly the same way.
No, it's
And that was
not,
what it was.
Lance.
That's exactly the way it was planned. I know because I was involved in writing it.
Mr. Chair, we called for a shareholders meeting to discuss specific line items. We are asking for specific information from the CEO of Ho-Chunk Incorporated. It is a gathering of information so that this council, sitting council, can have a clear picture of how things are rolling out over there. That by itself was a specific meeting for just that alone. Now the annual report is a whole different matter. Those are two separate issues, two separate items, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, it is on the agenda for now. Can we leave it?
Lance, where is the annual plan? How come we don't have a copy? Do we have one?
It's been public for the report itself has been public for a few months. The plan has been in place for some time, and we're ready to present it.
I have a question. How was the agenda on Facebook? How did Facebook get the agenda and the council didn't?
Chairman,
Yeah,
I think it's appropriate that all of this be held in that one council meeting. And I know I would appreciate, and I know the membership would appreciate the presentations in each area so that we would be well informed. I know that I don't have enough information to just go in and do action items because we need to be informed. We need to have discussion, and the membership needs to be informed. And so moving those items to the meeting I think is a good idea. And so I would make a motion to approve the agenda, removing those items. Thank you.
okay.
Mr. Chair,
There's a motion on the floor by John to remove tribal council items. The one item on there, present annual plan, ATF and depth update. Motion by John, is there a second?
This conference will now be recorded.
I'll second it.
Second by Carl. Any objections? No objections? Discussion? One, two, three, four. No objections, no discussion. Motion to remove tribal council items under Lance Morgan's to present annual plan, ATF and depth update. Motion approved, 800. Okay. Thanks, John.
Thank you. I'm going to leave, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We still need to get copies of that annual plan. Does anybody have them? Does anybody have one?
no.
Any of the council members have it? Looked at it.
Yes, no.
Nope.
Be nice to have that.
Mr. Chair, I have a question on that first.
Yes,
Is my understanding correct that as of September 9th of this year, that the Ho-Chunk Board of Directors has not yet seen the annual plan?
I have no idea, Brian. I haven't saw it either.
Okay, I'm asking that question because we have the two council representatives here, and I sat at that table for 14 years, and that annual plan was presented to us at least 4 months in advance prior to the start of the fiscal cycle. We did that usually in the summer. So is my understanding correct that the board has not yet seen that document? It has not yet been presented with that document?
Chairman,
Yes, John.
I do sit on the board as well as Rollin, and Lance has provided the board with an update on the items that the council is asking for. So the information has been presented, and it's a real good presentation, and I think the council will benefit from it. And so I look forward to having the fellow council members be presented with information that the board members have been presented with. I would try to communicate that with the council, but there's a time for that, and it's the council is having their own presentation on all those areas. So that's why I look forward to that all of the council be informed, like me and Rollin have been informed.
Well, thank you for that, John. And what I'm trying to get to is to answer the question that was asked, whether or not anyone has this. And based on my experience with this, the voluminous nature of that presentation precludes it from being printed because it is quite literally several inches thick worth of paper, and the presentation is usually done electronically through video representation and other types of presentation materials and or media. And I think that anyone who has ever sat at this table understands that when this is done, because of the depth and breadth of what that plan actually includes and the actual amount of work that the executive staff goes into and through in order to present this on an annual basis, I think is something that needs to be recognized. Because if we are intent on actually doing something that is positive and is not meant to be destructive or asking questions that don't deserve to be asked simply because they're based on deliberate ignorance, then I think that we need to be able to understand that this process is well underway, that it has been presented, at least in part, as what John just alluded to, and that if there are any questions related to that, perhaps it would behoove anyone who has those questions to actually pay attention to what's been presented.
I have a question, Chairman.
Go ahead.
I've been on this council for 11 months now. And he's talking about having an agenda 4 months out. And I'm yet to see this 4-month out agenda coming on to 11 months. And being an annual meeting, I think we're well overdue to have that information. Thank you.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to encourage the tribal council and thank the ones who wanted to bring this forward, because I think it's really going to be beneficial and it's going to be a real big step forward. And because there's a lot of information that can be presented on, and it'll provide a better picture, not only for the council, but for the membership. So I think this is a really beneficial thing and a step forward. Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, I agree. Some of us are going to learn a lot. You know, it's going to be all something new, something we haven't done, something I haven't participated in really at saying with the words shareholders involved, you know. And I've sat through the annual plan up there, and I guess I agree. Maybe we can get a flash drive of it, something. Okay. On to the agenda still. Any added items?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I would like to have a action item added.
Okay. Go ahead.
For the expansion of a casino operations, Winnebago. I shared this information with the council. I hope that they've reviewed it. It's in their boxes, and it's been sent electronically in a draft form.
Yep.
Thank you.
I see it. Resolution expansion of casino operations. Okay. Anybody else have any added items?
Chairman, I wanted to add an item. I don't know if it's an action item, but I want it to be discussed and thought about by the rest of the council, because I've been thinking about it. And that's the outgoing, when these tribal council members finish their terms, I think it would be appropriate to acknowledge them for their service. You know, I felt real bad last year when I came on, and there was no acknowledgement for those ones who finished their terms of service. You know, it's a real tough thing to sit here and you know, sacrifices. You know, you sacrifice your time, your peace, and your sleep, and even with time with your family. So I think it's appropriate that we should include that in the ceremony, that we acknowledge those ones that completed their service. And if they're walking away from the table, then we want them to feel good walking away. Or if they're starting a new term and then we want them to feel good that way too. That's the way we should do it. That's what kind of people we are. So I wanted to add that to discussion.
Okay. Added, there'd be a number 2. Any other ones? If not, I have one added item. It'd be number 3, be the application for an emergency grant. Three added items. None others? No others? Is there a motion to approve this amended agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Rollins, is there a second?
Second,
Hey, Chairman, do me and Carl need to remove ours because we made a motion in a second and then now we're adding items? So if Carl's,
I thought your motion was to remove the tribal council items under Lance.
yeah, and then approve the agenda.
it.
So if Carl's okay with it, I'll remove mine and let those items be added.
Okay. Carl?
Yeah, I go along with it.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda, the amended agenda now? Motion by Rollins, a second by Thelma. You guys hold those?
yes.
Okay. Is there any objections? Discussion? None? Amended agenda is approved, 800. Okay, we go on to the reading of the minutes. August 17th, 2020, mid-monthly minutes. Are they looked over and are they ready to approve? Motion to approve, please. Is there a motion to approve the August 17th, 2020 mid-monthly minutes?
I'll move it, Chairman.
Motion by John, is there a second? There's a motion by John to approve the August 17th, 2020 mid-monthly minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Carl. Any objections? Discussion? None? Motion passed 800. August 19th, 2020 General Council minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve,
Motion by Thelma, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Carl. Any objections? Discussion? No objections? No discussion? Motion passed 800. August 28th, 2020 Treasurer's Report minutes. The motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Eric, second by Thelma. Is there any objections? Discussion? No objections? No discussion? Motion passed 8-0-0. The ratifications. Number 1, adopt resolution 20-177 State Tribal Territorial Partnership Initiative to document and sustain disparity reducing interventions. This was approved August 19th, 2020 through DocuSign, approved by Eric, Lewis, Thelma, John, and Coley. 5 signatures approved, 0 disapprove. Is there a motion to ratify?
Motion to ratify.
Motion by Thelma, is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Thelma, second by Eric. Is there any objections? Discussion? No objections, no discussion, motion passed 8-0-0. Ratification number 2, adopt resolution 20-178, fiscal year 2020, Federal Transit Administration, Winnebago Tribal Transit Facility Expansion Project.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Rollin. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It was a motion by Ron, second by Carl. Any objections? Discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Rollin. Go
I
ahead.
think that this is a really good move on a part of our program. And I'm really happy that there's actually funding to make these kind of additions to these programs. And in order for us to make sure that our tribal membership is gainfully employed, and then that they have transportation back and forth to our casino operations and various places off our reservation. It's a real enhancement and a real advantage to our tribal members. So I support everything that our current CEO and then our CFO and these departments are doing with these expansions in making these programs work and function at a higher level and better for our membership. Ultimately, the objective gets met. The thing that I would like to bring to this council's attention is the fact that it would be good if we could send our tribal members to pick up a trade and hire them here in this department, and then have them go to Western Iowa Tech, pick up a trade to become auto mechanics, and then have this facility have the capability to work on their diesel engines and regular engines, so that this transportation department is a very cohesive, functioning body there. And then we would, in the long run, perhaps be able to save ourselves money as far as sending out these fleet vehicles to be repaired. That's for future discussion though, but it would be a good enhancement. It would also put tribal people to work. It would get them an education and give them a leg up. And perhaps, you know, they would be able to have a higher standard of living. They could afford to buy their own home. These are the kind of things that I would like to support and see happen for our tribal members. And so to take advantage of this is a real opportunity for one or two of our members. I wanted to bring that to this council, this sitting council's attention. Maybe they would support that. Thank you.
Thanks, Roland. Any more discussion? None? There's no objections? No more discussion? Motion to ratify. Approved, 800. Number 3. Adopt resolution 20-179 BIA USGS funding stream gauge project FY21.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eric. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Thelma. Is there any objections? Discussion. No objections, no discussion. Motion passed, 800. Number 4, adopt resolution 20-180 FY20 Ho-Chunk Grammar Research and Video Project, Phase 1.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's motion by Eric, second by Thelma. Any objections? Discussion.
Mr. Chair.
Roland?
Yeah, on this video here, who are we going to be videoing in this? How's this supposed to roll out? Who's the authority? Who's running this?
Esther?
Ho-Chunk Renaissance, it says.
Should be at Renaissance.
So how is that supposed to work?
There's a summary with it. Wrong one.
That's the wrong one. Okay.
Oh, you need 80.
Does our CEO have any input on that?
Only what's in the summary that's in your packet. Can we just leave it on your bed? Okay. Here you go.
No?
The title is wrong.
Chairman.
20-180.
Make a correction on the title of that resolution. Because there's 2 similar ones, but they're both through Ho-Chunk Renaissance. One of them is with Michelle Lemire and the other one's with you. 2 different grants, same program.
Dollar amounts are different.
Yeah. So the 180, 2180, the title is on the resolution. So I have to make it.
Okay, that's
Yeah. Esther, do you have any more information other than this resolution? What's in front of us?
No, I don't. The only information I have is what's in front of you.
Chairman,
John.
the grant is for, the award amount is 100,717. Project staffing is Elaine Rice, project coordinator. Tribal program contact is Louis Saints here, Director of Ho-Chunk Renaissance. And the grammar videos will provide language learners with a framework for using the language to express themselves and for the communicating ideas beyond nouns and sentences. I'm really looking forward to these videos. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank
Okay.
you.
In your packets, you'll see the FY20 Ho-Chunk Grammar Research and Video Project award amount $100,717. Tribal program contact Louis Saint Cyr, Director Ho-Chunk Renaissance. You go on to a few more pages. Past that resolution, then it goes to project title, same. We got two different. Yeah.
20-1, I was just reading the email from Joy. That's the one where the first page got mixed up for some reason.
Okay, Joy's not on.
The summary is correct.
The summary is correct. Is it for 95 or is it for 101-717?
Resolution 20-181 needs to be corrected.
Okay.
So this one is just the video part of it. And then the other resolution one, that one has a different number there. And that one's states it's an immersion program. And that one will be done by Michelle Lemire.
There's two different resolutions there.
Yeah.
20-180 and 20-181.
How's that supposed to work?
181 is on the agenda and, or wait. 2180 is on the agenda. That
Yeah.
was correct.
Yeah. So confused.
I know.
So the motion that was just made just only covers 20-180. There's
Yeah.
nothing on the agenda for 20-181.
No.
Correct.
Okay. No more confusion. There's a motion by Eric, second by Thelma to adopt resolution 20-180. Any more discussion? Any objections? None? Motion passed 800. Okay, that resolution 20-181 is not on the agenda, but it's in the packet. When?
It was done by 5 signature. You think I should send it back through
Yeah,
correctly? And then just void this other one out?
yeah.
Okay. I can do that.
Okay.
We move on to the next one.
There'll be some corrections coming out.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
20-181. I think that would have to come in on the next meeting to be approved, correct?
that's gonna be corrected. Yeah,
We're gonna void that 5 signature.
okay. Okay, move on to item 5. The approval of Harmon Maples from the U.S. Census to complete census work for Winnebago. Is there a motion to ratify?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
Motion by Carl, second by Roland. Any objections? Discussion?
Discussion.
Roland?
So it's my understanding that to count its membership is supposed to be beneficial to this community as far as the numbers and then being able to get the funding from different federal agencies. Is that correct?
Yes.
As well as counting how many people we got on our reservation that are.
Yep.
I have one concern.
Louis?
The president proposed to cut off the census by 1 month. And we needed to go the full 12 months. And we told the government that we don't want 11 months, we want the full time period.
What's your suggestion on that, Louis?
And we watched the resolution in support of not having a month cut off.
Okay. Any more discussion? No objections? Motion to ratify pass 800. Number 6, approve additional names for primary and regular election board alternates. Is there a motion to ratify the approval of additional names for the primary and regular election board alternates? DocuSign went through September 1st. It was signed by Eric, approved, Brian approved, myself approved, John approved, Lorelei approved, Louis approved, and Thelma approved.
And then just for the information, we've had this election board, and we've been having people who couldn't fulfill the duties, so we've been having to make sure that we have a healthy list of alternates. So this is continuing with that. I'll just read out the names that came up: Bernard Thomas, Lisa Levering, Pearl Morgan, Llewellyn Walker, Alan Wolf, Alfred Lopez, Norma Steeler, Ashley Lyons, Eugene Aldrich, Avery LaPointe, Tina Lewis, John Smith, Crystal White, Wanda Lewis, Francisco Laura. So this is just making sure that we have those people in place should we need to call upon them. So I'll make a motion to ratify, Chairman.
I'll second.
Okay, it was motion by John, second by Louis to ratify. Okay. And I'll just add that it was drawn by the Secretary of the Tribal Council and Office Support Tyresha Wolf and myself on 9/1/2020. Any objections? Discussion? None. Motion passed 8-0-0. Number 7, approve an emergency assistance of $250 to assist with providing a meal for the family of Iris Rice, who was a longtime employee of the Winnebago tribe in Nebraska.
Mr. Chair, correction, I did not vote on that last item.
I called for objections and discussion. You object?
I was not present.
Oh.
7-0.
7-0-0. Rolling out.
There it is. Now you know.
Okay, on to number 7. The approval of emergency assistance for $250 to assist with the meal.
Make a motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Second.
Motion by Eric, second by Louis.
Oh, okay.
The other way around.
Motion by Eric, second by Louis. Any objections?
It was the other way around. I made the motion.
Oh. Louis made the motion. Is there a second? Motion by Louis. Who seconded it?
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any objections? Discussion? Okay. Thelma Whitewater has her arm up and object. Call for the vote. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Aye.
I see Louis, see Brian, see Lorelei, see Eric, see Carl, see Roland, and I see John. No. 1. 1 was Thelma. No objection, no abstentions. Motion passed 7-1-0. Okay. There's no new business on the items, no old business. Tribal Council items been removed. We're on to added items. First added item is number 1 is the resolution presented by Treasurer Warner, expansion of casino operations. Go ahead, Roland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you are well aware, and this council, the seated council, is well aware that there has been a lengthy discussion in regards to the expansion of our casino in Winnebago. We've thoroughly vetted this out. We've discussed it at length. And what we were waiting on was the results of a pandemic and other matters going on within the state. We've come to a point where we kind of have some clarity, and I would like to make a motion to have this resolution passed, and then we could start working towards a expansion, a needed expansion for this casino and its operations, so that it would bring further revenue and resource to the tribe and its programs. And we could then bolster our programming, send more of our children to school, and then be able to take care of them as we become accustomed to. As you are well aware, this council has made decisions to lift the moratorium. So now that we are faced with this issue of how do we provide for extra membership. So we have to take a proactive stance to ensure that these members and future members are going to be able to be provided for in the way that they have been accustomed to. So I would like to make this motion, Mr. Chair, that we expand this casino and start working towards that. So that is my motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay. There's a motion by Roland,
A second.
second by Eric. The new resolution number,
20-187.
okay, 20-187. The motion by Rollins, second by Eric to adopt 20-187, expansion of casino operations.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question on this.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so what's the plan, how we're gonna go about this? What's the plan? How we're gonna be planning for casino expansion? How is that gonna work? Is somebody gonna put some work into it?
Yes,
How do you see that working?
we have discussed this previously. My apologies to you, Councilwoman Decorah, for not thoroughly explaining that. We've had a feasibility study. We worked with our casino over there across the river. The current operations would be worked over there with Mr. Beltran, and in conjunction with the funding source. Finding the funding first would be the primary objective, and then working alongside with our CFO, and then working alongside with Whole Chunk Incorporated. Those were parts of these plans and the discussions that we had before you come on. And we were getting ready to execute that plan in our discussions when the pandemic broke out, and it kind of put a hold on everything. And so we were making sure that we had all of our bases covered, and that everybody was in agreement that was the thing to do. And it was pretty clear the direction that we were going to go. So it's been worked out. And if you would like for more clarity, Councilwoman Decorah, we can have the, Mr. Beltran do a presentation for you so that it's all worked out for you and you have a clear picture on how that's going to roll out. Would you like to have that done, ma'am?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we can set that up. Mr. Chair, let's set that up as soon as possible. Have discussions with Mr. Beltran and his team. Right now, our CFO is on vacation, a deserved vacation. He's over visiting his family members in Montana. So I don't know if he's going to be available. I would hate to bother him when he's on a vacation, personal time off. But I would pretty positive that his input, if needed, would be available as well.
Okay.
I think it changes the whole ballgame of this feasibility study, because we have to consider the impact of this virus. It's had an impact on everything we do. And it doesn't seem like the right time to be expending money on redoing a lot of things. Because we may have the revenue that requires us to cut back. I don't want to, but we got to look at the figures and make an analysis. You just can't fly off the handle and go start pouring concrete and building, because it might backfire on us. An example is that big swimming pool and it cost us $29 million. Are we going to have the revenue to pay for that? And if we do, does that take revenue from other programs in the tribe? We have to take a hard look at it, because we never thought about the pandemic when we were thinking that through. You can still have a devastating impact on the tribe, because the Trump administration isn't taking it serious. They think it's a hoax. It's not a hoax. So I urge we be cautious and prudent in looking at the issue. Thank you.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. I don't know, we got some background noise going on here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chair, do I have the
Yes.
floor? Okay, thank you. I'm in total agreement with what Councilman LaRose has rolled out for us in our discussion. I agree totally. And we should be very, very cautious moving forward in any kind of expansion or any kind of endeavor, especially during a pandemic. The resolution, having the resolution, passing the resolution only means that we intend to make this expansion. Once we are clear on how this pandemic finishes up, we can then move toward the making sure that the funding is available, how that's going to affect this tribe, and then the timeline on the construction phases of all of that. So I would not be comfortable in trying to just rush in. This isn't something that I think that we should take lightly. We have to consider that, this pandemic. It is a driving force in everything that we're doing currently on this reservation, whether you agree or not.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Carl.
yeah, I'll like to add, or remind people that in this, resolution, it says that expanded operation would be implemented in planned phases. And also I'd like to, what Roland already brought out and what I'm aware of, and is just the lifting of the moratorium is, to me, is devastating to our finances and even to our very existence as Winnebagos in this tribe.
Yeah.
I like to drive that home to you. Maybe some of you don't even care because you ain't got much blood or come from a different tribe. But I just wanted to say that with emphasis. I'm not trying to talk down anybody, but I want to express myself very clearly on that.
Yep.
And also that just what Roland was talking about, to get ready in case of this initiative going forward. We'll get ahead of the 8 ball instead of getting behind it. I want to say that much. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl.
Mr. Chairman, I want to speak about that. I hear that being thrown out there. And about we don't have the money and too many people are coming from other tribes. These are our children, our grandchildren. And they have a right to belong as enrolled members. I don't like that throwing out there that these other people from other tribes are going to come over here and then we're not going to have any money for our own tribe.
Chairman, point of order. Get back on subject. As Councilman
Okay, there was motion on the floor by Roland, second by Eric, to adopt resolution 20-187. Is there any objections?
Object.
Okay. Call for the vote. All in favor to adopt resolution -20-187. Raise your right hand, please. I see. I see Roland, Thelma, Eric, and Carl. Yes. No? Raise your right hand. Be Brian, John, Lorelei, and Louis. No. That's 4 yes, 4 no. I leave it a tie. And I will break the tie. I vote yes. I will break the tie, yes, because I've been saying this for 3 years. Every treasury report when a GM was here, when we gonna, when we are gonna start laying concrete, when are we gonna do this? Because of the feasibility study, that it say that it could triple our revenue, and what that would do for us and our shortfalls. One more important with our education. Some incentives that they're moving out, missing out on now, and pretty much more opportunities for everybody, all of us. So the chairman breaking a tie, that is 5-4-0. We'll add item number 2. John added that item for discussion on tribal council terms. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, this was just my observation throughout the years, and my close observation last year as I was sworn in, that it seemed like we was missing something, that we wasn't acknowledging the service that was done by council members completing their terms. And I really think that I wanted to add that into the ceremony and come up with some recommendations to the tribal council that I wanted to take that on and make it part of moving forward. You know, I think it should be a real good thing. Even if a council member chooses not to run or runs and does not reelected, I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it should be viewed as a bad thing. I think it should be part of the ceremony as far as acknowledging the service and the sacrifice that our council members make. So I just wanted to voice my thoughts on it, and that I want to work on some recommendations, call upon some people within the tribal organization to help me with that, and that I'll be bringing it back to the table. And saying that much, I'll open up if anybody else has any thoughts on that. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Thanks, John. Go ahead, Roland.
Thank you, Councilman Snowball, for your concern for outgoing TC members. Everybody sitting here knows how this goes, and the pressure, the anxiety, the stress that comes along with these seats. Sometimes these people here that sit here, and then it takes a toll on them physically. And we've had a couple of them leave sitting here. And it's nothing to take lightly, service to the people. It's a real sacrifice. And I think that those thoughts and feelings that Councilman Snowball has expressed are good. And we should go down that path and acknowledge these people that are, whether they're going to be here or not, you know. If they're going out, then, you know, let's do it in a good way. Something positive. So I support what Tribal Council member Snowball had to say. I think that's good. That's all I got, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Roland. Anybody else? I agree, John. That's very positive coming today, and we will work on that. And as we do, as we leave here, some of you are very experienced sitting here, and when you come here every day, you hear what our people want and need when you hear it every day. And you know the things, and you know how stressful this can be. Why is it we're getting off the point? I'm getting, why are we stressing each other? You know, why do we have to leave here daily stressed? I don't know, whoever will figure that out, but we're trying to get to that point. But thank you for that, John, and any ideas and recommendations will be heard. Thanks, John. Okay, the last added item was the application for the emergency grants. I bring this to the table again. It's been brought when it was created. It was revised in March of '98, June of 2006, December of 2009, July of 2015, February of 2016, and November of 2016. On this emergency grant, it says grants are awarded only if both applicants and or immediate family members in distress are enrolled members of the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. Grants may be awarded only in documented cases of death or serious critical illness of tribal member who is also an immediate family member of the applicant. The reason I bring this to possibly to be updated and changed, I don't think we can do it today, but just these past few weeks, I think we had 4 tribal members who didn't qualify for this because either their relative or their mother or father wasn't enrolled, but they need assistance. They needed assistance with gas. You know, are they been here? They come to take care of their father, and their father was laying ill, you know, for over a week. And after that week, they started the wake process, and they come to me, and I'm sure they come to you guys too, you know. So I know of 4 these past couple of weeks where they didn't qualify for this emergency grant. I know we can modify it. We don't have to give it the full 250, or we can. Even for the doctor's appointments, it's 250. You know, just to go to Sioux City, we can make a mileage something or something to help these people. So they come to me, and they come to some of you also. So I bring this to us to maybe we can modify it, change it, and update it to help. I know it's a financial burden, and that was the kind of terms used in the past if we open this up, you know. But what have I heard? These are our tribal members that are in distress for their father, their aunt or uncle, grandmother, you know, aren't enrolled, or they're enrolled in their Ho-Chunk, Wisconsin Ho-Chunk, you know, and we can't help them. We don't.
Comment, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Brian.
One of the revisions that you listed was from the first term that I had and when I served as treasurer. Just so this council can be aware, the changes that were made at that time were predicated upon the administration's and also the majority of the council members concerned that what existed prior to that amendment taking place was a kind of like a free-for-all system, meaning that the only barrier to an applicant receiving whatever that they asked for toward the 250 was a time barrier, meaning that it could only be asked for once in a 12-month cycle. And so we removed that, or I should say amended it to become what it became at that point. And the main things I wanted to point out in the comment, Mr. Chair, was simply that what was, I guess, observed at that time is there were tribal members who were literally waiting for the calendar and would come up with something and would use this as a manner with which to get $250 out of the tribe. And it became kind of almost, and in my estimation, shameful really watching people wait until the day after. And the former administration, the former CEO can all corroborate this if you ever had the chance to speak to her, as well as the executive secretary. But in my estimation, Mr. Chair, if you want to change this or alter it, I'm for that simply because I realize and recognize the scenarios that you are describing. They have not changed in the last 12 years, at least in my understandings, and then now having taken 4 oaths to sit at this table, they all seem to be the same. So simply understanding it was abused in the past, which is why it was altered to become what I'm sure it has become. But at the same time, if you guys feel that we need to change it in order to be more assisting toward the scenarios people find themselves in, then let's do that as well. But at the same time, recognize and understand there is an element within the tribe that recognized this was money that was capable of being misused, and it certainly was.
Mr. Chair, was you done, Brian?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you. Brian, and I agree that that was a good, prudent move to ensure that that was not going to be abused anymore. So that was good. I appreciate that. And then your willingness to make amendments to this is also good, and I agree with you. So, and I also agree with Councilman Brown, Chairman Brown, and that we should revise this because it's a living, breathing document, and we're always progressing. And I would like to have maybe 3 forms drawn up, have our legal help us out with that, and then out of those, then we this council makes that final decision on that. But being able to accommodate these tribal members who are in need during a time of losing a loved one, and if we could help them, tribal members, then by all means, let us do that, because it's hard enough. They're already going through a lot of anxiety and stress because of the loss, and then you put that sadness of the mourning on top of that, and it just compounds. So if we could lift that burden by assisting them with that 250, these tribal members, mind you, tribal members during these times, I think that's money well spent. And then at the same time, making sure that it's not being abused. So those are my sentiments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
One other question, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Do you want this changed?
I do. Yes, I would like to see it modified.
Okay, then I will make a motion to authorize the chairman to take all necessary actions to modify the emergency grant application for presentation and ratification at his earliest convenience.
Okay. Motion by Brian. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any suggestions? Please forward them to us.
The only thing I would add to that, Mr. Chair, is that when you are ready to present it, it can be presented, and that includes signature approval, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any more discussion?
I have something.
Go ahead.
I know a lot of our people are needing help during these hard times. I sure want to help them. And I guess when we do something, we got to stick with our policies. Because the prior policy was that you had to be, both had to be tribal members. But on number 7, you guys approved for a non-tribal member to receive this emergency funding. And then later on, when some tribal members did need it, then they were denied. So we need to make policies and stick with them. And the other thing I want to mention is, being that now we lifted the moratorium, we have other tribes, some adults who are enrolled in other tribes, disenrolled. Now they're gonna get enrolled in our tribe. So now that opens it up to even more, more adults that would be able to use this also. So it's, something to think about. Do we have enough money? How's that money going to go back in there to replenish? And so I think those things really need to be thought through. So that's just my comment. Thank you.
Okay.
Chairman.
John?
I know what you're talking about, Chairman. I seen some of those, and I was kind of disheartened that we have tribal members, and understand that we have tribal members who have fathers and mothers and maybe even children that ain't enrolled, and that it's not that simple, and that we want to help that tribal member in a hard time. So we just need to modify, and understanding that nothing's perfect. We make these policies with the best we can, but then we get new information, and or we move forward, and we got to keep modifying. We got to keep trying to get better. And I know people are, I heard the moratorium and enrollment brought up a couple of times in different areas. So, and then And I wanted to call that meeting with the enrollment committee and the department. That way we can fully understand, because I don't think it's fully understood what that process is. And it's a different process for adults and children. And so it's really easy for children of child members to get in. And for adults, it's a different process. It's not that easy. So I really want to call that meeting so all of our membership is well aware of the process and that we're going through it the right way, that we have those guidelines in place. Thank you, Chairman.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I agree with the lifting the moratorium and doing something like this to help our tribal members is a good thing. It's positive things, and good things come from doing positive, good things for your people. So I hope to see a few good things come to this tribe, to our people, from making these adjustments to help them more, because they sure are needy and they need help, and sometimes they request it. And there's things like this for policies that we can't, but now we can. And yeah, those children, there's children out there, friends and family, who's are going to be enrolled now. And that too, that brings that financial burden on us. But we need to work harder. We need to look for bigger and better things to help us with those things. And our future leaders set that up for them. Is there any objections?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say something.
Go ahead, Carl.
This council and the other councils are made up of different people, different feelings and that. And one issue that's I'm hearing is, or I bring it out, is compassion for other people. And I don't think something like that would come out illegal, but it kind of goes on and on. And not every council people is going to feel the same way as every other one. So something like that, empathy and compassion, pity, things like that, that we're going to have to be, or that's going to have to be thought about. I want to say about that much. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Thank you. Any comments? Any other comments, discussion? John, is there any objections to the motion? No objections? Motion passed 8-0-0.
Who seconded that, Coley?
There's a motion by Brian, seconded by Rollin.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Brian. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Thelma. We are adjourned at 10:36 a.m. Thank you.